Hello everyone. Today we're here to explore the evolving world of marketing with one of the industry leaders. Here we have with us Mr. Rahul Kohli, a seasoned marketing professional with over 41 years of experience across multiple industries. Mr. Kohli has led a transformative marketing strategies at global organizations, shaping brand narratives and customer engagement. His expertise spans B2B and B2C, marketing, global brand positioning, and leadership in disruptive environments. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, sir.
Thank you very much, Mishthi. Thank you very much.
Sir, as you've had a very immersive experience, what, according to you, is the most fundamental marketing principle that you've seen constant or unchanged?
To me, it's rather very simple, and I think one thing that hasn't changed is customer.
Okay.
So there is a customer, whether it's product or service or whatever else, but the whole concept of customer hasn't changed. And when I started working in 1983 in a company, very small company at that time called Castrol, and we were supplying lubricants. And then over the next 40 odd years, going from lubricant then to Ford Motor Company. So all product. Mm-hmm. Obviously, product is the basic thing that you sell, but there are so many other related secondary and tertiary products and services that you provide and build the brand. But then I joined a consulting firm, and there's no tangible product there. It was Hewitt Associates, one of the top human resource consulting firms at that time. And then I came to carbon black, where it is again back to the automotive industry, and you have carbon black which you can touch. And then of course fertilizer, and then setting up Bitsom last 4 years that I was with the Aditya Birla Group. And there also, customer never changes. There is a customer. I think one of the most powerful concepts, even from an internal perspective, is the internal customer. The same sort of principles apply to the internal customer as it applies to the external customer, because there's a give and take. So I think this whole process of a customer and somebody providing a service or a product is not going to change, at least in the foreseeable future that I am going to be around for. By the time you come to the point where I am, I don't know, really very difficult to say. A lot of people believe that we're actually living in what the movie series of Matrix.
Okay.
So if it's something like that, who knows what you're going to see. But I think that's fundamentally not going to change.
Okay. So I think from what I can gather, it's the customer that is a primary goal. And I think one key element for that is the trust that you built as a brand and between the customer. So kind of deriving from that, trust is a core responsibility of a business, be it a customer-centric, product-centric, service-centric. So in today's world, how can brands maintain authenticity, credibility, especially in industries where consumer knowledge is limited? So how exactly do you come up with the whole narrative of maintaining trust whilst also getting out your product?
My belief has always been, and you hit the nail on the exact word that I think a brand, ultimately what's a brand? It's just a promise that you make. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I joined Ford in 1996, we were all invited, the marketing teams of various countries were invited to Dearborn, where Ford is headquartered. 350 people for a meeting to set the Ford brand. Over the 2 or 3 years prior to our meeting, they were putting together the Ford brand. They were going through the whole thing. And, from moving the metal, as it used to be called, the transformation that they were expecting their team members to have is that you're going to build a brand, not just pick the car from the warehouse, put it to the dealership, and then give it to the customer. Not easy, and I saw it firsthand. We were fortunate in India because we had nothing. Ford didn't exist in India at that time. So we had the clean slate in which to build this trust. And, one of the things that Hewitt used to say this very well, and I think you can extend it to marketing also. If you as a company trust your people, you will find that the team which is responsible for going outside to the customer will also build the trust.
Yeah.
you cannot have a dissonance with an organization which does not trust its people, and then to go outside and say, okay, you must build trust. That's a brand, and the brand must deliver its promise. And Hewitt used to say this very well: take care of your people, and the people will take care of the company.
A very simple concept like trust for your customers comes from the trust that you have for your employees. It's such a simply ingrained concept, but it's not as widely spoken about. And also, it is quite true that I feel like today we're so bombarded with information or options. So it is a very prevalent fact that only the one that is established and the one that you have faith in, the one that you have trust in, is the one that you will go for.
Correct.
And it perseveres.
Some years back, we had the privilege of doing a program in relationship marketing in the B2B space with an organization which is globally recognized, Mercury, and they have an India office. The gentleman who runs the India office, Ravi, his mantra was, everything is simple, but simple is not easy. So I always lived by that dictum. And you're right, for a new organization to build trust is not easy. Because fundamentally, you have to set out to tell your people that we trust you. And then they go out and do what they have to do to ensure that trust. So it's not easy. And a small little thing can just destroy years and years of hard work to build trust. And you've seen enough examples of that. Folks have known of many, many cases where, and they've gone back and rebuilt trust. Yeah.
But so trust as a concept is, or rather building trust is a more traditional thing to do. And I feel like right now, the point that we're at a shift from a more traditional to a more modern approach of marketing in general. And what are your thoughts on how the traditional approach is now morphing, or it is changing into a more modern approach where we have social media campaigns? Because social media on surface is just a portrayal of what the truth is. So where exactly do you get the authenticity? And with that being such a front player of it, how do you think we can incorporate trust back again?
Interesting point, Mishthi. And to me, when you look at all these online marketplaces that all of us buy stuff from, right? They get delivered to the house. And the folks who come delivering, especially stuff that you have to take from them, not just the packets. I have experienced many of them who come with big bags and carrying 15, 16 stuff, fruit, vegetable, bottles and all that. That engagement is what builds trust in the brand from whom you're ordering. If that person, normally male even now, is one rude or just dumps the stuff and says, take it, and you may not reorder. But I think all of them, they do a tough job, but when they come to your door, they smile, they've got the stuff there, they put it out, it's not dirty. It's not as if the ketchup is leaking out and if it is, instantly that person says, okay, take it back. You must have come across, all of us must have come across cases where all you need to do is send an email to the supplier or the marketplace saying, here's a photograph of what you delivered. In many cases, they say, okay, we are replacing it, but we don't want the old stuff back because taking it back, etc., is not worth it. Now, you're building trust. So on many of these platforms today, you don't even think twice before you reorder and reorder and reorder. And when somebody new comes, you try to do the same thing and you don't have a good experience, you go back. So I think fundamentally it hasn't changed. Or whether it's a service that you're requiring. There's a classic example, taking the name of the company. I read an article about Netflix, when Netflix started. And there was a gentleman in the US, middle of the night, was seeing this movie called Casablanca. I think movie is 1940s or something like that. And long movie, 2.5 hours or something. And he was writing some critique of the movie. And the movie would keep halting and not clear, the voice was not clear, and he thought, some 45, 50, 60-year-old print and this and that. So even he was okay. It took him a longer time than he had, but he finished his work and slept off. In the morning when he woke, there was an email from Netflix saying that, we believe you had a problem when you were viewing this film. So we are reimbursing you the rental of this movie. He had not complained. He didn't ask for anything. Now, no human being interface, no product exchange hands, service, and one platform. So simple, no? But not easy. They still have even more advanced algorithms which were tracking and saw that this person is repeatedly rewinding, going back, etc., 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 and taking to see the movie much longer. Now, you have an experience of that, you will not go anywhere else. So I think the fundamentals, at least large part of our businesses, large part of our ecosystems, are not going to really change. Relationship marketing that you do with large companies. I spent a lot of my life doing that till recently. Even today, as we speak, I have a brother-in-law who's traveled across the world, keeps meeting his customers. Same thing, rebuilding trust again and again and again. Getting your team members to understand, you start doing something very simple commercially. Look at what you call lifetime value. This is not just one ketchup that I am going to buy from this platform. If just me alone, is going to have a next 10, 15 years of buying from this platform, imagine what the net present value of that purchase is going to be. So if you build trust repeatedly, keep doing the same things again and again and again, I will not go anywhere. I think it all comes back to not easy again, but simple. And I still remember Ravi standing there and telling us, simple is not easy.
So basically, I think irrespective of whether us shifting from a more traditional approach to a modern approach, the fundamental remains the same. And I think it's not the approach that is shifting, but it's the medium that is shifting. But what we aim to convey remains the same. The foundations on which a brand is built or on which we wish to build a relationship remains the same. And it is quite essential for us to keep an eye on where we began from and what our roots are, because I think that's what will bring in consistency in the experience that a customer will get. So I think that is what the challenge, or that is what the task will be for marketeers now, to incorporate that authenticity, that trust in a different medium, but the feeling or the impact should be the same.
At the end of the day, the tools will change. When I started, market research was going afoot, going to meet people, writing down questionnaire answers, what responses, coming back to the offices, thousands of papers, putting them into grid sheets, adding, dividing, and whatever else. There was nothing else. And today, the whole thing is changed. You are able to assess customer satisfaction from all the data that any of these platforms get, or any of the other, so many medium that you're using, your pattern of purchase, your repeat orders, even if you don't make any comments. Classic case of Target. I don't know if you ever came across this. There's a girl, 20-ish, I think, who's staying with her parents, and suddenly in one day there's this booklet, a manual of pregnancy. And the father is freaking out, saying, why are you getting all this stuff? He wrote to Target that, I will file a case and this and that, etc. And Target turned around and said, all the stuff in the last 1 month that your daughter's been buying is all indicating towards this. And she was pregnant. So you have technology. At the end of the day, technology will only be a tool. AI will not create demand. AI will not create authenticity. You will use AI to create authenticity. I was reading an article yesterday that the market value of the company which makes this Birkin bags, Hermes,
Yeah.
is $350 billion. And these are 100-year-old organizations, even today. They're as relevant. Why would somebody buy a bag for a few $1,000s if they didn't believe in the authenticity of that brand? For whatever it is delivering, you may not like it. You and I may not like it. We may think that this is frivolous. Fine. But the person who's buying that still believes whatever the company says this brand will do, it is doing even today. With all and they've got usage of all the algorithms, how to target, where to deliver, what medium to use for communication, how to reach to individual customers without having people. So I think coming back to the point, fundamentals don't change. How you are able to use technology today to be better than the other company, other competitors, how are you able to ensure that your message is continuously being delivered through all aspects of your engagement with that brand.
So that's what this has all been upon. It's just been about building a relationship with your customers and bringing that forward. So this has been an incredibly insightful conversation, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on so many very questions that we had. Is there anything specific or anything in general which you would want to say to all of us? We're young lawyers. We will get into this field sooner rather than later. Anything that you want us to always carry in our heads as we execute anything?
I have been very fortunate throughout my career of having always in my immediate team a legal resource. And marketing has always needed a legal resource. In Castrol, there used to be a lot of work that we used to do on brand protection. So ensuring that spurious material, let's do raids. So we always had our legal guy with us who would ensure that things were done the way they were supposed to be done out in the marketplace. And as I evolved and went into different parts, especially when it came to whether it was mergers and acquisitions, when we acquired a carbon black business, we acquired a company that was larger than us, cross-border transactions, or doing joint venture agreements. And then there were times when obviously things didn't work out as we wanted them to work out. How do you extricate yourself? Always very fortunate in having legal resources who took the effort of understanding the business that they were a part of. All aspects of the business. Go to the plants, visit customers with us sometimes to get a sense of what is all this. Finance teams, human resource teams. Once they understood the business, the value that they could add was amazing. As against, yeah, okay, what's the agreement? Okay, yeah, this is fine. Oh, actually, last time when we were discussing this, you said there is this aspect which we haven't covered in the agreement. So my advice to you folks is, whichever area you finally get into, broaden your horizon. If you're working for a corporate, you must understand every aspect of that corporate. And this is true for any function, actually. Why only legal resources? Go there, see what's happening. Again, smell the coffee, or whatever word you wish to use if you don't drink coffee. I think that would make you, when you go out, much more holistic, much more rounded, be able to add significantly higher level of value.
So effort and interest are going to be our North Stars. I gather. Thank you, sir, so much once again for this valuable discussion.
Thank you very
and we
much.
hope our listeners have enjoyed this discussion as much as we have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Thank you.